So let's talk about artificial intelligence. It's not some sci-fi concept anymore, right? It's here and it's reshaping our world as we speak. But here's the thing, as it creates these incredible new opportunities, it's also drawing a brand new line in the sand. It's separating the people who know how to use it from those who don't. Today, we're going to dig into a fascinating real-world story to see exactly how this AI divide is playing out on the ground.
Okay, so let's zoom in on a specific place, Boise, Idaho's Treasure Valley. On one hand, you've got this booming tech scene. Boise State University is cranking out grads with advanced AI degrees, and it's attracting all this high-level talent. But then you look at the other side of the coin. There's a huge part of the workforce that's being completely left behind, without even the most basic skills to find their footing in this new economy. It's a classic tale of two cities, really, just happening in the very same place.
And that's really the heart of it. Boise's tech boom is this perfect case study for the challenge we're all about to face. AI isn't some abstract idea anymore. It's creating a very real split in our society, where opportunity just isn't being shared equally. So, let's meet the people who are right on the front lines of this divide. To really get this, we've got to go from these big, abstract ideas to the actual people on the ground. We need to talk about a specific group of people who are most at risk, a group that's been given this really powerful acronym.
It stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. Now, these aren't people who are out of work. No, they are working, often full-time, but they're basically trapped. They earn just a little too much to get federal poverty help, but nowhere near enough to actually afford the basics. These are the working families who are always just one flat tire or one sick kid away from a total financial disaster.
And we're not talking about a small group of people here. I mean, look at this number. A staggering 42% of all households in Idaho fall into this ALICE category. Nearly half the population is living right on that economic knife's edge. Now, let's see how this connects directly to AI.
And this is where the two storylines really collide. Check out how the ALICE population lines up with the jobs most vulnerable to AI. Look at cashiers. 55% of them are ALICE workers, and their jobs face a high risk from automation. Customer service reps, office clerks. It's the same story again and again. The very jobs that support these financially fragile households are the exact ones in AI's crosshairs.
Which brings us to what might be the most important point of all. For an ALICE worker, learning about AI isn't some fun hobby. It's not about personal enrichment. It is pure and simple an act of economic self-defense. It's a survival strategy to keep from being pushed out of the workforce entirely. So, what does this literacy even mean?
Because I bet when you hear AI literacy, your mind jumps straight to, super complex coding and data science. But that's not the whole story. For the average worker, it's actually something way more practical and honestly much more accessible.
So let me ask you this. Just think about your own job for a second. How do you think AI is going to affect it? Well, the folks at Jobs for the Future, or JFF, they have this great way of thinking about it. It's not just a simple yes or no on whether your job will disappear.
They break it down into three possibilities. Sure, sometimes AI will replace a task, and that means you'll need to reskill for something new. But way more often, it's going to augment your work. It'll be like a co-pilot, making you better and faster. That's where things like prompt engineering come in. Or it'll elevate your work, by taking over all the tedious, boring stuff so you can focus on the things only humans can do, like strategy, creativity, and empathy.
And another great framework from Digital Promise builds on this. It says literacy has three parts. First, you have to understand what AI really is. It's a prediction engine, a superpowered guesser, not some all-knowing brain. Second, you have to be able to evaluate what it spits out. You've got to ask, is this accurate? Is there a bias here? Can I trust this? And finally, you need to know how to actually use it to solve problems in the real world. You see? It's all about critical thinking, not being a tech genius.
So, if we know what skills people need, why is this gap getting wider? Well, it turns out there's a massive, systemic problem with how we're teaching this stuff.
And this slide just nails the problem perfectly. It's called the barbell effect. On one end of the barbell, you've got training for the absolute basics like how to use a mouse and send an email. On the other end, you've got these super expensive, high-level university degrees. But what about that huge space in the middle? For the regular person who already has a job and just needs to get up to speed, that space is basically a desert.
Okay, but it's not all bad news. There is a glimmer of hope on the policy side. The Department of Labor recently gave the green light to use federal workforce funds, they're called WIOA funds, for AI training. Now this is huge. It basically redefines AI literacy as a fundamental skill, just like reading and writing.
But here's the gut punch. Just as that federal door was cracking open, a huge one at the state level slammed shut. Idaho's $6.3 million grant to build a digital access program for the whole state, it was suddenly canceled. This was the very program that was going to fund a network of digital navigators, the people who could give one-on-one help to those being left behind.
And this quote just says it all. That money wasn't just for laptops and internet cables, it was for the human infrastructure. The teachers, the tutors, the librarians, the actual people on the ground who turn access into real skill. That's what was lost.
So, federal help is a maybe. State support just vanished, so what now? Where do you go from here? Well, the answer seems to be, you go local. In Boise, the community itself is putting together its own 5-step roadmap to take action.
Okay, here's the game plan step by step. First, adopt a clear framework like that JFF model we saw, so everybody's on the same page. Second, embed AI training into the programs people are already in. Think teaching practical AI skills in every single GED and English class. Third, launch a volunteer navigator corps, using college students to fill that teaching gap. Fourth, get smart with money by helping small businesses tap into existing state grants for upskilling. And fifth, and this one is my absolute favorite, completely reinvent what a local library can be.
And if you look at how these ideas break down, you can see where the real energy is. It's overwhelmingly focused on community support and workforce training. It's a grassroots strategy. It's not about waiting for some policy to come down from on high. It's about empowering people right where they live.
And let's just talk about this AI petting zoo idea for a second, because it's brilliant. Think about it. A low-stakes, safe space where anyone can walk in and just play. They can mess around with ChatGPT or create some images with no curriculum, no grades, and most importantly, no fear of looking silly or breaking something. It just demolishes the intimidation factor. So Boise's story, it isn't just about one city in Idaho. It's a preview. It's a mirror for what's happening in every town, in every city. It really forces us all to ask, is this incredible power of AI going to be just another tool that benefits the few? Or can we build the human infrastructure to make it a tool that lifts up everyone? How prepared is your community for what's coming next?